Hello and welcome to Monday's programme.
Your headlines tonight. Priced out of paradise, the Prince of Wales is set to sell off large parts of the Duchy of Cornwall, and construction is underway to build more affordable housing on the Isles of Scilly.
We have a list of over 100 families who are desperate for housing. We have lots of young people who are hidden homeless.
It's the country's oldest flower show wilting. We hear from the organisers in Taunton who fear this year could be the last.
26 children, 26 families. Plymouth's race to find foster homes.
And we are stuck in a little bit of a kind of cool, blustery, showery theme to begin with, but some bigger changes later this week.
Good evening. The Prince of Wales is set to sell off large parts of the Duchy of Cornwall as part of a plan to ease the housing crisis in the county.
Yes, in total, Prince William hopes to sell 20% or 1/5 of the estate over the next 10 years. The portfolio includes land, property and investments that are valued at more than £1 billion. It provides William, who is the 25th Duke of Cornwall, with an income of nearly £23 million a year. And it's hoped that the proposed sale will enable him to invest £500 million to help tackle the housing crisis and also protect nature in the county.
Well, construction is already underway on the Duchy of Cornwall's development of 10 new homes with affordable rents on the Isles of Scilly. They're part of the drive to address the housing crisis and the hidden homelessness that often goes unseen by visitors to the islands. I was on Scilly recently and was given a tour around the site. At the highest point on the Isles of Scilly, beside St Mary's historic telegraph tower, a development of new homes is taking shape. Building work started in September last year, and this Duchy of Cornwall construction project is now well on the way.
This development was born out of the council's declaration of a housing crisis about 5 years ago. So these are 10 Section 106 homes, which means they have to be used by local people who've lived here for 5 years or people who work in Scilly. The Duke of Cornwall is very, very interested in social impact. On Scilly, the most socially impactful thing you can do is build new housing or build housing for local people to live in. We have a list of over 100 families who are desperate for housing. We have lots of young people who are hidden homeless. They live in sheds, they live in tents, they live all over the place on Scilly in really inappropriate housing, and we want to help that.
There are 4 one-bedroom properties, 4 with 2 bedrooms and 2 three-bedroom homes. Designed with sustainability in mind, they'll have solar panels on the roof, high levels of insulation, underfloor heating, and they're finished with cedar wood cladding. And this is a 3-bedroom house, is it?
It's a 3-bedroom home, so it'll be for families. It's all open plan. When we were doing our consultation, people were really keen on the open plan approach. So this will be the kitchen area, there'll be room for a table and then a spacious sitting room area. And probably most exciting is having a really big garden out the back.
Some residents on Scilly have raised questions about why these new houses are being built when several other homes owned by the Duchy of Cornwall still lie vacant, so-called void properties. The Duchy says they need more work to bring them up to modern electrical and energy performance standards.
And that can be really difficult on some of our very old properties. So often that will mean a major refurbishment, which might take, especially on the off-islands, up to 2 years to undertake, and will need planning permission and everything else. In some ways, it's easier to build new properties like this, and usually much cheaper to build new properties like this. But that doesn't mean that we'll leave those as voids for very long.
There's an open day planned for November, so everyone on the islands can come and have a look around these new homes, which should be ready for the first residents to move in this winter. Bob Cruz, ITV News. And they tell me they're expecting a lot of people to want to have a look around on that open day.
I'm not surprised.
They just want to see behind closed doors. Don't we all, though?
Yeah,
it's nice to
of
have
course
a look
we
around.
do. Well, hopefully we'll be invited and we'll be able to show you.
Now, next tonight, it's the oldest flower show in the country, but now its future is in danger because of rising costs.
Yeah, in 5 years' time, the Taunton Flower Show is due to celebrate its 200th birthday. This year's show in August, though, could be its last. A little bit earlier, I spoke to Becky Fox, the show's manager, and asked her what challenges it's facing.
Like every show, we're facing, the increased costs of putting on the show and the decrease in visitor numbers and in sponsorship for the show.
So how worried are you that this is going to be the last one?
We are quite apprehensive that it will be the last one, but we have had some support from Somerset Council and from increased sponsorship from private businesses around the area. So we're really looking forward to this show and hopeful that it can continue beyond.
So what's your message to people? I mean, is it just down to the general public to, if they like it, use it and turn up, or is it more complex than that?
I mean, I think, for us, visitor numbers is a massive part of our income. And what I would say is if you've never given us a go, just come and see, because we are more than just a flower show. Horticulture is our heart, but it's a real family event and there's stuff for everyone and lots of children's activities. So, I would encourage people to just really come and give us a go this year.
There are other shows. I mean, we look at the RHS. They're actually having a brand new one in Badminton. There's definitely an appetite. I mean, we're preaching to the converted because I'm an absolute complete fan. What do you think it is that Taunton's missing? Is it possibly Vivery Park and the accessibility? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we have looked at putting it in other places, but really, Vivery Park is the heart of the flower show, and I can't see it putting it in other places. I think probably, it's a very busy season. There are lots of events going on, and maybe, floral traders aren't choosing us, or people are spending their money elsewhere. People are spending their money wisely, and I would just say, give us a go and invest with us this year and see what you think.
Well, in that case, just remind everybody when they can come and enjoy the show this year.
So the show is Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th in Vivery Park in Taunton.
Brilliant. Becky, thank you so much. I will see you then. My arms will be full of plants, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Excellent news. Hope to see you then.
There's no point asking you whether you want the flower show to continue. You love a flower show, don't you?
I mean, I do, and I so want it to get to 200 years and beyond as well. But I think it's one of those kind of use it or lose it situations, really.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Get in touch if you've got a view on whether these flower shows have a future.
Now, a group in Truro has joined protests which are happening across the UK, campaigning against the government's plans to scrap thousands of jury trials. The government says by reducing the number of trials with juries sitting, they can get through the 80,000 case backlog more quickly.
40 people stood gagged outside Truro Crown Court to show their anger against plans they say are eroding our civil liberties. Charlotte Gay was there. Charlotte, what did the campaigners have to say?
Well, having a jury of 12 everyday people is one of the oldest rights you can have in our justice system, and it's something that protesters today say we should be protecting, not eroding. As you say, 80,000 cases are stuck in this backlog. At the moment, someone in the judicial system could be waiting up till 2030 before their day in court. And to reduce it, the government wants to remove more jury trials. That would be in cases where the prison sentence would be looking to be less than 3 years, and that would be in favour of judge-only courts. Protesters today, including one retired magistrate judge, say that removing a jury will not speed up this process and will be eroding our rights.
I had a friend who was a judge who told me that he, very proudly, that he had never acquitted anybody. And I wasn't very impressed by that.
It's all under the guise of, cutting cost, right? But our rights on a day-to-day basis are struck down.
The problem isn't with the jury service, the problem is with the courts. It's with not enough sitting days, not enough judges, not enough courts available.
I think that there's a lot of bias, and I think that, some people may be a bit more privileged from that bias, but definitely like minority groups, or if it's a case such as a protest, then that bias can maybe harm a person, and I think that that's very problematic, and it's problematic for everyone.
Well, the government themselves say the judicial system is on the brink of collapse after years of underfunding. The most serious of cases, we must say, such as rape, murder and manslaughter, would still be heard by a jury. But in a statement, the Ministry of Justice tell us over 90% of criminal cases are already dealt with by magistrates' court, fairly without juries. It is only by pulling every lever at our disposal, pragmatic structural reform, record financial investment and modernisation, that we can drive down the backlog. Now, this bill has so far passed every vote it's had in the House of Commons, so it's looking much more likely that a defendant in the future will not be having their fate in the hands of 12, but perhaps just one judge.
OK, Charlotte Gay, intro row, thank you.
Well, you're watching ITV News in the West Country with Bob and Alex.
Yes, thank you for joining us this Monday evening. Still ahead before 6:30. Find out what happened when I took part in a British Championship over the weekend.
And Charlie is here with the weather. Hey, Charlie.
Hello, we've got a great big socking band of rain heading towards us, but that might be fairly good news for gardeners and growers. It's all going to change anyway later in the week, and I shall talk you through that very soon.
Now, owners of a dog that became stranded after falling from a coastal path in Devon have thanked the RNLI crew who saved her. The dog became trapped on some rocks surrounded by rough water near Capstone Hill in Ilfracombe on Friday afternoon after being spooked by another dog and slipping her collar. Can you imagine? She was saved by an RNLI volunteer who swam to rescue her. It's quite the rescue.
Charlestown Harbour has welcomed its first visiting ship through the new lock gate. The now Santa Maria sailed into the harbour on Friday. It's a full-scale replica of the 15th century vessel Christopher Columbus used on his first trip across the Atlantic in 1492. Volunteers have been giving guided tours.
Health visitors are trained nurses or midwives who keep children under 5 safe by spotting problems early and supporting families.
Yes, but with staff numbers down nearly 45% in a decade, an ITV investigation has found that some children aren't being seen at all during online appointments.
It's led to warnings that families won't get the care that they need without proper funding. Catherine Walker has this exclusive report.
Have you noticed any changes in her over the last few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. It's a routine home visit for health visitor Sally. She's checking in on Amy and baby Robin, who had early problems feeding.
It's definitely helped me. This is my first baby. So yeah, sometimes it can feel like you're really out of your depth. Robin was kind of really difficult to begin with because she was smaller and I had some trouble breastfeeding, and getting the support from Sally to kind of continue that was really important to me. But again,
health visitors like Sally are qualified nurses or midwives with expertise in child development and safeguarding.
Part of our role is to look after the whole family, so it's nice to come out to the homes and meet dad, meet siblings, see what kind of home environment that they've got. For us to do a good assessment of what our families need, we need to be able to see more than just a phone call. I think some of our skills are searching for minute little safety risks, and I think it keeps them safe to be seen.
From late pregnancy until a child is 2, families in England should receive 5 health visitor appointments. But the most recent figures analysed by ITV News show this isn't always the case. In 2024 to 2025, more than 7,500 babies in the southwest didn't receive their new birth visit before they were 2 weeks old. That's 1 in 6 newborns. In the same year, over 6,000 toddlers weren't seen for their 2.5-year checkup. That's 1 in 8 children. Even for those families who are seen, some appointments are taking place over the phone or online. At this drop-in playgroup, many parents told us they're worried about the lack of contact.
I was quite surprised. I expected it to be in person, so when it was virtual, it didn't feel right. So he was having a nap at the time, and they just took my word for that. I mean, there's some things that can be virtual. I just find that that's not one of them.
Mum Steph, who has a history of postnatal depression, was surprised to find one of her appointments was online.
At any point did the health visitor take a look at your daughter?
I mean, Livy wouldn't sit still, so she wasn't really on screen at all. It worries me massively because I don't want to miss something with her development. I'm not sure how you'd gauge really how a new mum was doing, a new dad was doing, and how a baby was doing virtually. I don't know how you'd grasp that.
With staff numbers down around 45% in the last decade, the current service is being blamed on a severe staff shortage.
So in the southwest of England, what health visitors are telling us, they're facing increased demand for health visiting support alongside workforce shortages. So what that means to families is that the support they get really depends on where they live. It's left to chance. But what we now need is for the government to fund it properly, to give us enough health visitors to deliver it, so that we can get on with the important work of supporting families.
Under government guidelines, health visitor appointments should ideally be in person. But concerns remain that checkups like this, that meant so much to Amy and Robin, will be the exception rather than the norm. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Well, in response to Catherine's investigation, the Department of Health told us, following a decade of underinvestment, this government is committed to strengthening health visiting services so that every family has access to the support that they need. As we shift care from hospital to community, health visitors will play an important role, including by building on their trusted relationships to help protect more children through vaccinations. In February, we refreshed our Healthy Child programme guidance, which included clarifying that all 5 health and development reviews should be face-to-face and in person.
Now, the ITV News continues after us with the national and international stories at 6:30. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up at 6:30, the Prime Minister stands firm as the country gears up for a by-election which could define the country's leadership. Sir Keir Starmer said he's focused on the job as Andy Burnham is set to take on the Labour candidacy for the Makerfield by-election. Win that, and Burnham could well be on the way to number 10. We'll have all the analysis from Westminster. Also on the programme, cute but unwanted, why a booming feline population has left catteries overwhelmed. And how the golfer Aaron Rai defied the odds to win his first ever major title. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Now, 40% of children in care in Plymouth are fostered outside of the city. So one is living nearly 300 miles away, and that needs to change according to a new partnership that's being set up to find new foster families.
The 26 for 26 campaign, being run by the council in collaboration with the city's churches and the fostering charity Home for Good, aims to find 26 new homes for foster children in Plymouth in 2026. Jackie Bird reports.
There is no one better to explain what it's like living in care than someone who's been through it themselves. Grant says his life was transformed by his foster family after time spent in children's homes.
The foster family that I had set me in good stead because I saw the dynamics of the family and I saw how they worked, and as I got older that gave me the knowledge to do what they had done, you know, so go to work and so it's very important to get the family dynamic, and for a foster child or a child in care to see how a family works.
But finding foster homes for children in need is a difficult task. Of the more than 520 children in care in Plymouth at the moment, 219 are placed in homes outside of the city, one 285 miles away. The City Council is desperate to find homes for 26 young people who are currently in residential care, but could be in a family home.
To be away from your school, from your friends. You know, lots of our children still see their family and their family networks. So being away from all of that, plus living with a family you may not know. So anything we can do to make that process smoother and easier for them, and one of those really important ways is for them to be able to stay in their city. They're Plymouth children and they should be in Plymouth.
And that's where 26 for 26 comes in, a campaign coordinated with Plymouth churches and fostering charity Home for Good to try to find suitable families to take in foster children.
Can we join together as a unified single voice to shout loudly and clearly, you know, there's a huge need on our doorstep here in Plymouth. Are there people that perhaps have discounted themselves for one reason or another that have a stirring in their heart, say, this actually, I've got a spare room, I'm over 21, this is something that I could do.
These foster carers explain the difference it can make.
Children are so important to us, and I just think it's been really nice to include them in our family, and because we've had the space we've been able to do that, and it's been something that's been a real privilege and honour to do so.
They're permanently matched to us, so they will stay till 18 or beyond. They are family the same as anyone else. They've been written into our wills. You know, they see our family as their family. You know, they talk about grandma and granddad and aunt and uncle, and yeah, they are just part of the family.
It seems like a small number, 26, but imagine the difference to 26 lives 26 homes could make. It's immeasurable. Jackie Bird, ITV News, Plymouth.
Sport now, and Exeter Chiefs suffered a setback to their playoff hopes as they lost to Harlequins in the Prem. Chiefs looked to be the dominant side with an early try from Campbell Riddle, setting them on course for a strong lead by half-time. But a storming comeback from Harlequins in the second half left the Chiefs trailing. The final score, 41 points to 24.
Away from the rugby, thousands of people took part in one of our region's biggest half marathons and 10k events in Plymouth yesterday. Organisers say it was a record-breaking field of around 10,000 runners who took on the 13.1-mile run that starts and finishes on the Hoe in the city. Can you see yourself? Look carefully.
Good luck seeing yourself in that. Now, possibly the biggest sporting news from the weekend, the playing of the annual British Open Crolf Championships in Devon.
What is Crolf?
Well, for those who don't know, Crolf is a garden game played with a croquet mallet and a ball. Croquet, golf, Crolf. It's laid out over a golf course. The holes are three-way hoops. They call them hools. And this year's tournament was played at the home of the game's creator, not far from Buckfastleigh, and it was great fun. I know, because I took part, Alex.
You're a Crolfer. I could get into all
with my team. That was my team, you could see there.
How did you get on?
Thank you very much for asking.
Oh, well.
We came third.
Did you? Out of how many teams?
It's a huge number of teams.
Of course there were.
Third. The weather, though, wasn't brilliant. It did rain quite a lot. We got very wet, and we were commended for playing on despite the weather, Charlie.
As you should.
Yeah.
I had to think about this. There are some other ones that you can combine. I've heard of foot golf.
Yeah.
On the way home at the weekend, I saw foot pool, which sounds quite good.
Foot pool?
Foot pool. So I'm presuming you're kicking them into the pockets instead. What do you think about...
Get off my table!
Ruggling?
Say that one again.
Ruggling.
Ruggling.
That's rugby with also pedalling?
Yes, cycling. So you play rugby on bike.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Squashington.
The other one was snookit.
Snookit?
Snookit, which is cricket and
Snooker
snooker.
and cricket. That sounds very dangerous.
Would you play that with a cricket ball or a snooker ball?
Both.
Yeah, OK.
So there you go.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah. Should we do some weather?
Yes, please do.
No, let's
Devon
keep going.
County show coming up, of course.
Yes, we'll
so
be
that's
there.
exciting, yeah. I think it might actually be OK. It's a bit dicey out there right now, but just fast-forwarding ahead to how things are looking for the end of the week. Generally fine and sunny and much warmer. That is going to be the big thing. Just hints of a couple of showers, maybe late Friday into Saturday, but it looks pretty decent, really. But today has been anything but, really. We've had a lot of cloud, we've had some outbreaks of rain. Some of those have been quite heavy and quite persistent. And then we've got this big area of low pressure and an even broader band of rain working its way in as we head through the course of tonight. So before we get to that fine weather later, we have got something a little bit less settled, shall we say, to get through. Otherwise, though, for the rest of the week, well, it looks OK. So it was quite chilly today, but it looks like temperatures probably will pick up quite a bit now. I've given you a bit of a sneak preview with the Devon County show, but quite widely we should get back to somewhere above average, finally, for the time of year later this week.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV West Country weather.
So then some more cloudy, damp, cool feeling weather, at least for the next couple of days. But as things settle down from Thursday, not only will we see a bit more sunshine, but hopefully those temperatures will be on the way up a little bit as well. It's just that for the time being, we have areas of low pressure and fronts working through. This one will give us a bit of a soaking tonight, followed by some pretty blustery showers from time to time as we head through the next couple of days. But then eyes down towards the bottom of your screen for this area of high pressure here. Now that will help to settle things down towards the end of the week and into the weekend. So a bit more sunshine, hopefully some higher temperatures as well. But yes, increasingly wet out there as we head through the rest of this evening with some persistent then later on heavy rain. But there is a pretty well-defined back edge to that, clearing eastwards through the early hours, leaving most of us with some drier skies, a bit of low cloud around, but already showers following into the Isles of Scilly, maybe West Cornwall as well. Meanwhile, temperatures nowhere near as low as they have been over the last couple of nights, double figures in most built-up areas. But these showers very quickly work their way across the whole region as we head through the daytime, lining up a little bit more sort of along the sort of middle spine, if you like, of the region as we head through the afternoon. But a good deal of sunshine either side, so looking and feeling a lot brighter than today, and probably feeling a touch warmer as well, with temperatures up to 17, maybe at a push 18 Celsius, just downwind of Dartmoor, for example. The sea's that little bit rougher, though. High tide tomorrow, St Mary's, 7 in the morning, and again, 20 past 7 in the evening. Beyond that, largely dry. Not that many showers around on Wednesday, but not that much sunshine either. That arrives later on, as do some higher temperatures. So it looks like it should turn out to be OK for the end of the week onwards. But what about this, though, to tune in some of that sunshine as well? Brilliant view looking back over Brixham.
TUI sponsors ITV West Country Weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Now, a changeable theme to our weather is keeping what little pollen there is at bay anyway, so it's pretty good news for hay fever sufferers, low as we head through the rest of this week. It's only really very early types of grass pollen that will start to work through.
So it looks like great news for the county show Thursday. Right. Can you look further ahead to next Monday, bank holiday?
Yes, in that it probably will be a little better than the early bank holiday in May. It could have been a lot worse. So I think we'll probably see the temperatures maybe subsiding a little bit as we head through the weekend, but that still should be OK. Weather-wise, OK to begin with, but again, just hints that the Atlantic might just bite back against that high pressure we see later. So good start, maybe not so great end.
We'll have to keep our fingers crossed. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you very much. I just think we'll focus on the Thursday County Show Day.
Exactly. We'll be there and we'll be enjoying it and bringing it to you as well.
For now, that is it from us. I'll be back with the late news at 10:30.
Mary Nightingale's up next after the break. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.